Well, when you've got a near stall frontal system connecting the tropics with Cumbria, you know what's going to take place. Heavy rainfall has occurred as expected across the Cumbrian Fells, with Sethwaite and Honister the wettest parts once again. The traditionally wettest two stations in the UK, in fact, especially when it comes to 24 and 48-hour rainfall. This area of the country is very familiar with heavy rainfall, and we've once again seen that taking place here. It was expected, it was forecast, and we're seeing the big flip around from near drought to deluge. We've seen it in 2009, we've seen it once again in 2015, and although it's not a record, these numbers are right up there with some of the big rain events of the past here. And sometimes, like 2009, we've seen it. Thankfully, it wasn't as disastrous this time around. Of course, there's been a lot of infrastructure improvements in this part of the world when it comes to flood prevention, and it certainly has worked, I think. But that amount of rainfall, 14 inches of rain falling within a day and a half, is going to see flooding taking place. There's no question about that here. Interesting to see how we've got this kind of mirror effect. I'm kind of honing in on this idea at the moment of the Pacific Atlantic mirror. We're seeing the same type of pattern over the Pacific as we are over the Atlantic, and I think these kind of twin mirror effects of weather pattern is going to get carried into the winter season. I do think that we've got, an amplified Aleutian trough. We've got an amplified Icelandic trough as well. These are acting as wheels, driving a lot of weather into the west coast of North America, into the west coast of Europe here. We're seeing, the natural turnaround, if you will, of abnormal dryness. It's been the driest 2 to 3 month period for Scotland. We've seen exceptional drought across the Pacific Northwest of North America, and we're seeing the atmosphere balancing things out, if you will. And it's very, very interesting to see where this pattern is going as we go forward here. So you can see here off Wanstead weather, 430 millimeters of rain at Honister, over the course of a 44-hour period here. And, that is certainly very impressive rainfall indeed. So lots of interesting things going on at the moment here. I have tweeted in the last couple of hours about this warm pool between the Azores and Iberia. Of course, that frontal system drew moisture over and across this warm water, and I do believe that has helped enhance the rainfall. And of course, when you drive rain into mountainous areas such as Cumbria, such as the southern uplands of Scotland, the Grampians, for example, you get the orographic influence here where the moisture gets pushed upwards, it cools, it condenses, and it enhances the atmosphere's water content here, so it produces more rainfall than otherwise would have fell. But you can see here, oops, I apologize for that. You do see where the atmosphere over the Pacific is reflecting over the Atlantic here. So you can see here, let's go back to the start here. So we've lost that pipeline of moisture from the tropics into the UK. What we're now starting to see is a main area of low pressure that is now starting to kind of give birth, if you will, to other areas of low pressure, or at least are coming off North America. There is a tremendous amount of energy within the Atlantic at the moment, and what we're seeing is these individual areas of low pressure cycling around the main low here off the south coast of Iceland. We're going to continue to see that bombardment of Atlantic weather into the UK here over the next several days here. So more wind, more rain, more saturated ground in a broader area. And of course, Joe Bastardi, over a decade ago, made the statement, where it likes to rain the most in late autumn, that can often relate to where the cold is going to go into the winter season. And I'm really a big believer that this pattern that we're seeing now is all showing where it's going to go at least into the month of December. I think we're going to start to see that block taking place over Greenland with a twin trough scenario, one over Eastern North America, one over Western Europe. We're actually seeing a version of that taking place as we go forward here in the coming days here. So let's look at the GFS ensemble, and I'll give you that as an example of what I'm talking about here. Upcoming 5-day period, you can see here the twin trough scenario. One over Eastern North America and one over Western Europe here. Arguably, the Western Europe trough is stronger than the Eastern North America trough. We've also got a trough here driving moisture and weather into the west coast of North America, like we're seeing across the Eastern Atlantic here in the Western Europe here. In the 6 to 10, of course, the one common denominator is this ridge of high pressure off the east coast of Canada, extending into Greenland. Days 6 to 10, you can see that the what's happening is we're starting to see the progression, the eastward progression of that ridge. Rather than being over Greenland, it's now over the central Atlantic. We're going to continue to see the trough over Western Europe here, over the eastern portion of North America, and even in, well, it's actually the 11 to 15, you can see that the ridge of high pressure is actually kind of edging into the UK. So you can see the eastward progression of the overall ridge trough pattern. As we go forward, you can see here North America, upcoming 5-day period. You can see here that the cold is over the central portion of the United States, and as I press through the loop, the 5-day increments, cold develops over the central portion of the United States and shifts eastwards here. Eventually, the warmth comes back into the central United States. And then, as you can see here over Europe, upcoming 5-day period, we've got a very warm Europe at the moment here. Notice that. But as I press through the loop, like we see with North America, the cold moving in through the UK, Spain, France, Central Europe here, generally, you can see that the cold comes in. So you can see the relationship, the similarity, the teleconnection between the Pacific, North America, Atlantic, and the Europe here. And I think as we go forward, we're going to see this pattern evolve more, possibly seeing the ridge, the main ridge, semi-permanent over the Baffin Straits, over Greenland, building northwards and having that kind of locked in trough, twin trough, one over Eastern North America, one over Western Europe as we go towards the cold period here. So it's getting interesting here, and I urge you to share these videos, let other people see them, and hopefully we can all follow this exciting pattern as we go forward here. So please, of course, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's continue to watch this exciting pattern as it evolves. Hope you have a great weekend ahead. I'll be back again on Sunday with more. Bye for now.